the day and top of the moment to you around the world, wherever you are joining us from. This is Niger Super Fans Forum, and I remain Ashalulu Afemi. This is where we talk about African football. And as usual, I'm not flying solo today. James Agberebi is here. And of course, today we'll be looking at news regarding football in Africa. James Agberebi, it's a pleasure to have you on the show once again.
Yeah, Femi, thank you very much. Always pleasure being part of this edition of Niger Super Fan.
Okay, so I know yesterday wasn't that good for Arsenal fans around the world, but I wouldn't be starting the show with that because I think Mikel Arteta summed up the frustration of all Arsenal fans around the world. Okay, James, let's begin the conversation today. We'll be, as usual, we'll be starting in Ghana, where a lot of things are actually happening. Maybe we should start with the fact that Mikel Arteta has bagged his UEFA license A coaching badge. I think that is some good news coming from Ghana. So I think we already have a future coach for the Black Stars of Ghana. So the Black Stars wouldn't have to go out to look for a new coach. So there's been so much congratulatory messages coming in for Mikel Arteta. But James, let's start with this on a very controversial note. Charles Taylor, not the former Liberian president, I'm talking about the former Black Stars international, has come out to say that Inaki Williams is not good enough for the Black Stars. I think, well, I wouldn't be talking about what I feel about Inaki Williams, but I will allow you to do the honors, James. And I'll quickly go to the thing that Charles Taylor said. He said he's not good enough and that the Black Stars cannot rely on him. And he went further to say that Spain had the opportunity to draft two brothers into the national team, and they opted for Nico, knowing that Inaki Williams is not good for their team. It's not good enough for their team. James, Inaki Williams came into the fray before the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and I think he played 2 friendly games, if I'm not mistaken, and he played every minute of the 3 group games that Ghana played. And not even a single penalty won by him, James. But, well, that is my opinion. What do you think about what Chancellor said?
For me, I think Chancellor has been too hard on Inaki Williams. I remember he's somebody who spent all his adult life, childhood and adult life in Spain. So he now decided to play for Black Stars, and I think he's still warming into the team. I mean, look at the short period he had before he was able to get his first cap, then played at the World Cup. I mean, I don't think he has really adapted to the team yet. I think Chancellor should at least give him some time to get used to the team. I know that expectations are high, because this is somebody who played in one of the best leagues in the world, very consistent player for Atletico Bilbao. But I think he's still trying to gel with his player teammates in the Black Stars, So I think what Chancellor should do is he doesn't need that now, because he's somebody that's very popular in Ghana, and when popular people say things, it attracts a lot of engagement. So so I still want to give him benefit of the doubt. I don't want to judge him by his performance at the World Cup. Because I mean, look at the short period of time he had to get to know his teammates and play at the World Cup. So I think it's too early to start lamenting or start pointing accusing fingers at him that he has not done anything yet. The AFCON qualifiers are still there. Remember what I said, something that it is when the qualifiers for the AFCON start, and then when the AFCON proper to start, because of the timing and everything, that's when we really know if these guys are really down, with playing for Ghana. So that's when you start judging them. But for now, I think it's too early for that.
Okay. All right, Jess, maybe we should give Inaki Williams the benefit of the doubt, like you've said, but I do not know how many matches it will take a player to actually fit into the team, because we've seen the younger brother, Nico, in the Spanish team. I think he literally gelled as soon as he got into the team under Luis Enrique, before Luis Enrique was fired. But, well, we'll see, because at the moment, I do not even think that the Black Stars have a top 9 who could maybe give Inaki Williams a run for the money. And of course, you know that Edin Ketia is still hell-bent on playing for the 3 Lions. James, let's move on now. Let's talk about the Black Queens. Remember, I think last week we devoted a reasonable amount of time talking about the Black Queens missing out on a major competition in Africa and even on international level over the past years. Of course, they are in camp now because of they were playing 2 friendly games against Togo and Benin Republic. They've been camping at the Ghana Soccer Center of Excellence in Ghana. And of course, they will be playing the 2 friendly games during the international window away from Ghana. James, yesterday, while we're preparing for this program, trying to measure reactions of Ghanaians to these 2 friendlies, some of them were not happy because some people were saying that if they feel that Togo and Benin Republic will give the Black Queens some measure of competition. They're saying, then, what do you say about Nigeria and South Africa? What they were saying indirectly is that they should be looking at playing friendly games against Nigeria and South Africa, not Togo and Benin Republic, going by the pedigree of the Black Queens in African football. What do you think, James?
Well, I think I understand where they are coming from. You want your team to play against the best, so that you're able to measure their how good they are, So, but I understand that, but sometimes these friendly games, it's not easy to arrange this kind of games, especially against big teams, because you have to know their program, So there's nothing bad in the Black Queens playing against Togo. Benin. These are countries who are they are close to Ghana, so it's easy for them in terms of movement. So the Black Queens, they've been off the radar for some time, and for me, I think they should look at it as a way of trying to claw their way back. The Black Queens have been one of the strongest teams in African women's football, but unfortunately for them, they have to contend with the Super Falcons, who reign supreme, on the continent. They've got a couple of finals. Unfortunately, the Super Falcons keep stopping them, keep denying them the opportunity of becoming African champions, So, I mean, for me, they should take it as trying to get back to the scene. They've been off for a very long time. They failed to qualify for the AFCON, and automatically that ruled them out from the World Cup, which they've played in before. So for me, there's nothing bad in playing these friendly games, and it's an opportunity for the coaching crew to try out new players. I mean, I believe they are young, talented female players in Ghana, so they can use these friendly games to try these players out, and see where they go from there. Because by the time you play against top teams and you get bashed, I mean, this is the same people who still come back and start complaining, start shouting. So why not take it one step at a time? Just play these games. From there, you build confidence, you try out new players, you discover new players, and you take it off from there. Instead of trying to attack the GFA that why should they be playing friendly games with teams from Togo and Benin Republic? I mean, you have to play against what is put in front of you. From there, you build a team. Like I said, it's like starting all over again for the Black Queens, and there's nothing bad about it. So all the team needs now is just support, So I believe that they have what it takes to come back from the doldrums, because they've been off for a very long time now.
Okay, so the 2 friendlies will be back to back. They'll be playing on February 25th and February 26th. But James, still, let's stick with the Black Queens. Also, in some of the comments, some of the reactions from Ghanaians, some of them lamented the treatment, the gash in treatment of the Black Stars and of course the Black Queens. Remember, you and I, we had some kind of debates over it last time, over how the male and female football teams are treated. Remember talking about equal pay and all that. Some were saying that the Black Stars get lodged at 5-star hotels, even during friendly games or even during qualifiers. But the ladies, they're only confined to the Ghana Soccer of Excellence Center in Ghana. And they lamented that it shouldn't be, that if they are treated in that manner, then don't expect them to bring in to the table the same as the men who get who receive more better treatment. And of course, also, James, during the training, some of the training wears that the ladies put on, there were a lot of some Ghanaians were literally mocking their team, saying that the jerseys they wore belong even to the men. James, I think that speaks volume to how we see women's football. I don't know whether I should say in this part of the world, or is it just something that we just do and we do not even care about? what happens? Or do you even the repercussion?
Well, Femi, I don't think it's an African thing. I remember in our last edition when we discussed about women football, we talked about the Canadian team that we're planning to go on strike about equal pay. The American team too, they feel like they've been cheated out. That they do.
Actually went on strike. They went on strike. They were compelled to call it off.
Yeah, a kind of a threat to them. So for me, I think female football, like I said, they still have a lot of things to do. You cannot compare the Black Queens and the Black Stars. The Black Stars they qualified for the World Cup. What has the Black Queens done for the past few years? I mean, I can't remember the last time they appeared in a major tournament. So like I said, they've been off the radar for some time. So it's the way of trying to get themselves back, and you have to win the trust of everybody. Whatever treatment you get now is a result of what has been happening in the past. You've not done anything. You've not brought anything to the table. For the GFA to now say, okay, they want to start investing and then start throwing money into the team. So it's now left for them to now work their way back up. If you qualify for major tournaments, I mean, the GFA will pay attention to the team, but they've not been doing that. They're not qualifying for the AFCON. But the Black
but James, sorry, yeah. If that is your school of thought, what happens to the Super Falcons? The Super Falcons, they've brought more goodies to the table as far as football is concerned in Nigeria than the Super Eagles. But we saw what happened at the last AFCON in Morocco. They literally threatened to boycott one of the games if their bonuses or salaries were not paid. So what do you say to that?
Well, Femi, this Falcons issue has been going on for a very long time. And I think it just has to do with the kind of people who run, and I'm talking about Nigeria now, the kind of people who run our football. I mean, you have a team that does well, but you only find it difficult.
I think it's the same everywhere in Africa.
You only find it difficult to give them their dues. So maybe that's one of the reasons why even the team is even struggling these days. They're losing left, right, and center. They're not like the Super Falcons of old. So in general, when I look at women's football, to be honest, Femi, I think the attention given to them is as if it's something that is being forced. Because sometimes you have to look at football from the business side of things, and nobody wants to invest in something that at the end of the day you don't get anything in return. So for me, the Black Queens, they just have to start doing things, do something right. Have to start qualifying for major tournaments, because you can't just be in the doldrum for a very long time and you expect the GFA to start pumping money for you. I mean, you just have to start doing things so that you're able to attract attention to your side. The Black Stars, they've been struggling for some time, but they were able to qualify for the World Cup, and all attention, sponsorship deals, everything started pouring in. So it's what you bring to the table that determines, in most cases, what you get. So I believe like I said, the Black Queens, if they can just use these friendly games to build themselves up and they start up from there, maybe at least they'll be able to attract attention and get most of the support that we've been talking about.
Okay, so talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, they lost the first game in their their invitational tournament taking place in Guadalajara in Mexico. They lost to Mexico 1-0. Remember that tournament? We have Costa Rica and Colombia as the other 4 teams. James, I think talking about around the world drum will be another topic of discussion entirely for another day. But a lot of Nigerians, I think by the day, they just keep losing hope that Brandy World Drum can get anything done with the Super Falcons. Quickly, your reaction in 1 minute to that defeat.
Well, I wasn't that surprised, because for me, I think I kind of lost hope in the team, especially under this current coach. It's as if he's not taking the team anywhere. If not for the fact that the 4 World Cup is somehow close now, I think I would have supported his being fired from the team, because I mean, you've lost the defeat to Mexico means the Super Falcons have lost their last 6 games, 6 consecutive games they've lost. I mean, it doesn't speak well for a 9-time African champion who have never missed the World Cup before. I mean, you're going to a major tournament and you are piling up defeats. So I mean, I don't know if they don't pick a win in this tournament. I mean, I don't know, it's going to affect them seriously. Fine, they have another tournament, invitational tournament coming up in April in Turkey. So I good thing that the NFF they are playing their own part in trying to prepare them for the World Cup. But I don't know. The team is just not doing well. I mean, losing. The one thing I've observed about them is when it comes to playing against a decent side, they just run out of ideas. I don't know, maybe whether it's the players or the coaching crew. I don't know. The team is just a bad team now. Super Falcons is a bad team now. And
you still have to blame the coach. You still have to blame the coach.
Yeah. I'll put it on the coach because somebody who is handling the national team is doing it on a part-time basis. I mean, which time do you have to scout players from local club side here in Nigeria? It's only when they are international maybe friendly game that's when it comes around. After that, he's off to the US. I mean, no serious country we have a coach like that. It's only Nigeria.
So how would he?
So maybe it's part of the reason why the players are not even playing well, because I don't know. It's sad. If the NFF, I just hope that they are watching what is really happening now. Because the Super Falcons, they are really going down. They are declining fast, sinking like a Titanic ship. And if they don't arrest it now, they're going to take this bad form to the World Cup, and they're going to get disgraced at the World Cup.
So James brought back some flavor of love. Of course, a couple of days ago, it was just a Valentine. James, okay, let's move on to the next topic now. Talking about Lamptey, another Ghanaian legend, and he's been talking about Chris Hughton, about his appointment, and he said that looking at the pedigree, the record, and the exposure of Chris Hughton, he said it would be difficult for him to be manipulated or influenced. He said with his experience and pedigree, I think it would be difficult for someone to influence the job of Chris Hughton. Remember, just recently we talked about a member of parliament in Ghana who talked about the fact that the GFA appointed Chris Hughton because they knew that it would be very easy to manipulate him. But then Lamptey is saying that that might not be the case. And he challenged Chris Hughton. He said if there's a time for him to fix anything that he sees wrong in the Ghana national team, he said it is now, James.
Yeah, that Lamptey, he played it to the highest level. Fortunately, he didn't play at the World Cup, but I mean, he's a household name when it comes to football in Ghana. So talking about Chris Hughton, I don't think it's that kind of manager who they want to start throwing things at. Somebody that he can easily influence, because this is somebody who played in one of the best leagues in the world, that Premier League. He was the former manager in the league. So it comes with his own pedigree. So I mean, I've always clamored for
Republic of Ireland. I think he also coached Republic of Ireland at some point.
I think so. So I mean, you want somebody like that to handle the team. Somebody who will bring a balance, who will bring a tactical, a good formation, good tactical play, and everything into to a team that we already have the talents there. So you don't need that decent coach who able to put them together to achieve results. So I think I want to agree with that Lamptey, and I don't think Hughton is that kind of coach who want to be rubbish, who want to be influenced, who want to be kicked about. So I believe it's somebody that they will want to give that respect. But the most important thing there again is the team will start doing well and start winning games, because if they start to struggle, I mean, start getting shot from all angles. So the most important thing is give him the support, and I believe with his pedigree, with his experience, he'll be able to do well with this talented crop of Black Stars players.
Okay, so in the next few days, we will be expecting Chris Hughton to release his squad for the double header against Angola. Remember, that will be taking place at the Cape Town Stadium. Did I say Cape Town? Cape Coast Stadium in Ghana, I beg your pardon. And of course, Luanda. So we'll be expecting Chris Hughton. His first assignment it will be that game at the Cape Coast Stadium. James, I think we will also be, of course, we'll be expecting maybe the familiar faces for that game. But James, let's look at some African players who are being touted perhaps to move in the summer. Summer is fast approaching. Of course, most league season in Europe, they've gone far beyond the halfway mark now. Let's look at Victor Osimhen, Mohamed Kudus, and Achraf Hakimi. If you look at these three players, they're arguably the brightest stars in African football at the moment. But the question that a lot of people have asked is, do these guys worth 100 million euros? Osimhen is 24, Mohamed Kudus is 22, Achraf Hakimi is also 24. James, do you think these guys worth 100 million euros or even 100 million pounds? Okay, let's take the euro. Do you think they worth 100 million euros?
Yeah, I believe they do.
Each of them.
The three of them, I mean, Ashraf has played in to the highest level. They played in he's currently playing for PSG. He played for Real Madrid. I think he was in their academy. Was at the last World Cup and he did very well for Morocco. You know, so if you're talking about one of the best right backs in world football, you cannot list five best right back and not mention Ashraf Hakimi. You know, so for me, I believe he has what it takes. He's a very experienced, world-class defender. You know, talking about Victor Osimhen too. Osimhen, we can see all what he has been doing for Napoli. Is leading the charge to the first Scudetto title, and that has linked him to so many top European club sides. And so I believe he has what it takes to go for that amount. He has proven it. And we just hope that he keeps himself injury free. And then the moment he helped Napoli to win the Scudetto, I mean, that's it for me. He's going for over 100 million. You know, Kudus too, he has been doing well for Ajax. He has been
African Player of the Year, right?
Yeah, you know, winning player of the match, scoring goals, and doing well. He was Ghana's outstanding player at the last World Cup. So if there are I mean, if certain players, especially in the Premier League, are being touted to go for over 100 million, I mean, why not? Why is it that our own players too from this part of the world? Why can't they too command such fees? Is it because they're from Africa? That's why we feel they're not up to that amount. You know, so I mean, fine, you say okay, the bargaining power is with the club side, you know, but I believe these guys have done well enough to command these fees, you know. So for me, anybody who wants to get these guys, you have to break the bank for them. Like I said, Victor Osimhen, I mean, it's so evident. Look at what he's doing, the top scorer in Serie A, one of the biggest leagues in Europe. Ashraf Hakimi is a regular for PSG. And Mohamed Kudus too is one of the star player in Ajax, one of the top teams in Europe. So nothing says these guys don't have what it takes to command these fees. I believe they have what it takes, and so whoever wants to get them must pay through your nose.
Okay, James. Of course, we also heard that the Nigerian Professional Football League might be back on a major cable TV in Nigeria. I think that will be a great plus to interim management committee of the LMC if that actually happened. Of course, it is what we are learning, but we are hoping to actually learn officially from either from the IMC or from the cable TV themselves. But if that is done, James, I think that would be a great milestone this season for a group of people who were just put together. Well, maybe you can say hurriedly by the new NFF board, but it's looking like they are doing a great job.
Yes, I think everybody wants to see the league in the on TV. You know, because when you don't watch the league on TV, you don't know the talented players you are missing out from. I remember when MFM Olatunbosu, when he scored a wonder goal. That goal was picked as CNN goal of the month or goal of the week, if I can recall. And we were able to, we were able to see that goal because we watch it on TV. You know, so when you don't have these games on TV, I mean, you are missing out. You don't. That's why you find it difficult for the average Nigerian fan to mention the name of maybe the 5 players in a particular top club in Nigeria. They can't. But when it comes to mentioning the players from Real Madrid, Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea, it's so easy for them because they see them on TV. But when you don't broadcast your own league on TV, how do you expect the fans to follow the league, support these players, and know who is talented, and even prefer, suggest players to coaches, because you don't see all these guys. You don't know how talented they are because you don't see them, So good one for whoever is coming up with this idea. I mean, it's about time. So let's get started. The present body, they've been doing well, and let's just hope that things will continue like this until the end of the season.
Okay, so I think our point of focus for the week should be if our fans think that Inaki Williams is good enough for the Black Stars of Ghana, because I think I share the same sentiment with Charles Taylor. I do not believe that Inaki Williams is good enough for the Black Stars. And he said that the Black Stars should not rely on him. I think it is a handful advice for Chris Hughton, because I feel that if if there is someone like Inaki Edinketia. I think for me, Edinketia is a proper 9 compared to Inaki Williams. I don't know what you think, but that is what I think. Please let us know what your opinion is in the comment section right there. Of course, unfortunately, this is where we have to draw the curtain on today's edition of Nigeria Super Fans Forum. James Agberebi, as always, thank you for your decisive analysis.
Yeah, thank you very much, friend.
Okay, so of course the season is still going all right there in Europe, and African stars are doing great. Unfortunately, Thomas Partey missed Arsenal's 3-1 defeat to Manchester City at the Emirates Stadium last night, and hopefully we hope that at the end of the day we'll come here to celebrate Thomas Partey winning the Premier League, because it seems City they are back to where they want to belong. All right. This is where we have to end today's program. Until we see you again, I remain Ashalula Femi. Bye for now.